While President Trump shook hands, took pictures, and gave a thumbs up with world leaders in Egypt, the government remained shut down in the United States. House Speaker Mike Johnson said to reporters yesterday he is not ready to negotiate with Democrats.
We're barreling toward one of the longest shutdowns in American history unless Democrats drop their partisan demands and pass a clean, no-strings-attached budget to reopen the government and pay our federal workers.
Workers who have started to receive partial paychecks. A lot of those workers, both civilians and members of the military, live in Virginia. So we've called Senator Tim Kaine, who represents the Commonwealth in the Senate. He's a Democrat. He's with us now. Good morning, Senator. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, Michelle, great to be with you. Thanks.
So it's now day 14. Virginia, as we said, has a lot of federal workers. More than 4% of the people who don't work on farms work for the federal government in your state. That's according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And Virginia is second only to California in the number of active duty military in the state. That's according to the Department of Defense. These are your constituents. I have to assume you're hearing some things from them. What are they telling you?
Michelle, yeah, I was on the road. The Senate is still in session. Of course, the House has been out for weeks, but we were on the road for the holiday weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and yesterday. And I talked to a lot of Virginians, and they're very, very troubled by this situation. But they've been troubled since Donald Trump became president in January. The layoffs, the clawbacks of federal public health funding, the cancellation of economic development projects. This didn't start when the shutdown started. It started on Donald Trump's inauguration day. And what my constituents are saying to me is, get a deal that the White House will honor, and get a deal as a result of some real negotiation between the White House and Congress. You can't let the White House say Democrats have to just accept whatever we say. The president has not meaningfully engaged in the negotiation at all, and that's what always happens when you want to find a funding deal. The president's got to engage.
So the president says, on one specific issue, the president says he's identified funds that will ensure that active duty military get paid tomorrow. The administration is reportedly using some $8 billion of unused research and development funds to pay for this. First of all, do you think this shifting of funds is legal? And if you don't, what's the recourse there?
Michelle, I think it probably is legal. There's a second set of funds in the reconciliation bill this summer. We added money to the Pentagon budget, and some of it was undesignated. Since Mike Johnson has said he won't bring the House back even to pass a military spending bill, I think that the president needs to find something with the House absent to make sure military get paid. And I think unallocated funds is a good way to do that.
You support that?
Yes.
You're not concerned that that creates kind of a wedge between military members and civilians?
If you were taking money away from other priorities, I would be nervous about it. But I think Virginians would generally support the notion that troops who stand the risk of being in harm's way, with monies that are available at the Pentagon, those dollars could be used for them.
So the Republicans are framing this, as we just heard, as a partisan demand for an unaffordable program that they don't agree with. The Democrats are framing this about keeping health care affordable. But even if Democrats were to vote for a so-called clean CR, a clean bill, it just kicks the can down the road. I mean, open enrollment starts on November 1st. So these programs have to be priced out. I'm just trying to understand, what is a scenario where the substance of this actually gets worked out? I mean, is it President Trump getting directly involved in cutting a specific agreement? Is it members like yourself working across the aisle? How do you envision this actually gets worked out?
Michelle, it has to be with the president's engagement, because Republicans are afraid to do anything unless the president blesses it. And I want to make clear, this is not a demand. The Democrats put an alternative on the table. President Trump told the House, write a budget deal without Democratic involvement. We didn't wait around. We put an alternative on the table on September 18th that said, hey, let's fix this healthcare mess you've created, and let's also make sure that a deal is a deal. If we shake hands, the White House has to follow it and can't immediately start laying off more people. We want the president to engage. The only thing he did after canceling one meeting was have a meeting on the 29th of September, a day before the end of the fiscal year. And as soon as the Democrats walked out of the meeting, he started to put up artificial AI generated videos making fun of them, putting sombreros on their heads, etc. You can't solve this with the president unengaged. And all of the earlier deadlines we've reached. When Joe Biden was president, we never had a shutdown because he'd get congressional leaders in the Oval Office and work out a deal. When Donald Trump last shut down the government in 2018, 2019. Eventually, he realized he needed to forge a resolution, and he did. If the president engages, we can solve this in 48 hours.
So before I let you go, briefly, polls at the moment show that Americans are blaming Republicans more than Democrats for the shutdown. The longer this goes on, do you think that might change?
In Virginia. So in Virginia, folks are very conditioned to believing all these negative consequences are choices by Donald Trump, because he started doing it on day one with a OMB director, Russ Vought, who says his goal was to traumatize federal employees. They've made good on that promise. I think Virginians know who to blame.
That is Senator Tim Kaine. He's a Democrat from Virginia. And I want to note, we invited several Republican lawmakers to take our questions. We will continue to ask. Senator Kaine, thank you.
Glad to be with you. Thanks.